Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, Ron here at AbleSys. Welcome to the webinar, and we'll go over the AbleTrend signals, and I'll show you how to use AbleTrend, the way to trade with AbleTrend. It's really quite simple. We're just going to look for triple confirmation before we enter in a trade. Immediately, we then put a stop loss in place, and we're just looking for two exit rules, which is real easy also. It's either a stop out, and I'll show you where we put the stops. It's either a stop out or an opposite colored price bar, which is red, as I'm pointing to here. Blue bar, blue dot, blue X, right here, there's your buy signal. The X's, this is a daily, weekly stock chart of HAE, stock chart, because AbleTrend works just as well on stocks as it does on futures or Forex. The same way it works just as well for daily and weekly longer-term charts, position trading, which is what this chart is, just as well for day trading. So it doesn't matter what you don't need to buy extra modules or anything like that. One size fits all, and that's the nice part about it. Just depends on whatever you like to trade. So the X's in this case, are the weekly, so they come in every once a week. So you got a blue bar and a blue daily dot. These dailies come in every day. Now you say, well, the X isn't right underneath it. Can I take it? Yeah, of course, because that you have the X from the week. You have the X a couple days earlier. That's okay. You can take that. Nope, no problem at all. So there's your triple confirmation buy signal. AbleTrend is suggesting to buy it at about $88. And as long as you've got these blue dots below, it means stay in the trade. Remember, blue means uptrend. The algorithm is doing the calculations, and if it paints the price bar blue, you have a very high probability of going up. Green means sideways, and red, of course, means downtrend starting. So as long as you've got these blue dots below, it means we're safe, because notice how the prices come back down to the blue dot here twice. A pretty big healthy pullback here, bounced off and it went higher. Did it again over here. So the point is, you got these blue dots below, means stay in the trade. You're safe. You've got a nice wall of invisible protection. That's AbleTrend's algorithm seeking out where there's a very strong support point, meaning there's going to be some buying come in at that point. So if you missed the beginning of that trade, just for example, or you got in late or you wanted to add to the position, there's where you would do it. There's your triple confirmation. We call that a sweet spot. And the way I'm showing you how to read this chart is the exact same way, whether you're trading E-minis, Forex, long-term, short-term, it's always exactly the same. So we're looking for that triple confirmation buy signal. Stop loss goes on the previous lower small blue dot. A lot of people would say, oh, do I get stopped out here because it hit the blue dot? No, the stop loss goes on the previous lower blue dot. In other words, one step down, not on the blue dot under the price, one blue dot lower, one previous lower level of blue dots, because they kind of work in levels like steps. So we bought in at 88 and didn't get out of this one until the red bar and the red dot stopped us out right there at 119. That's a $20 per share winner. And it never said to get out until we hit 119. Not one time did it ever even hint of suggesting to exit the trade. So the key is you got to pick up these big moves, because they just don't come that often. And you have a really good chance of picking up these big moves with AbleTrend's rules that were going on and the AbleTrend signals. This is exactly how you trade with AbleTrend. No other way. This is what you want to do. In other words, you got red bar, and you say, oh, do I go short here? No, there's a blue dot below, a blue X below. There's a wall of support. Remember, you have to have blue bar, blue dot, blue X to go long, or buy puts. Buy calls. To buy puts, you want red bar, red dot, red X. No red X. No buying put. That's simple. Now it's okay, well, I get back along again here, obviously. There's your first time blue bar, blue dot, blue X. Yes, but I don't like getting in on an unusually long bar. This is the longest bar on the chart. And experienced traders already know long bars usually mean there's a great chance of a slight pullback after that. So I would have waited just one more day, be a little more conservative, because we're very conservative. These AbleTrend trades are very conservative. We're very risk averse. We want to keep the risk as low as possible. Nothing is more important than preserving your capital. So I just get in on the next bar. You got a nice little pullback, but regardless, it's a shorter bar. It's a shorter bar from top to bottom. Perfect place to get in. Triple confirmation. We're in at 129 2 weeks ago, and we're at 133 and change today. So up about $4. Your stop loss will be right there. Second lower row of blue dots below the price. There's one row. They're all on the same price, 129.84. You got 5 in a row. The previous or the next step down, you've got these 2 dots here at 128. Well, that looks great because we got in at 129 and change. We got a stop loss at 128. Very, very little risk on this trade. Perfect, just what we want. Again, low risk is exactly what we want. So that's exactly where you put your stop, Antonio, as I just mentioned. As soon as you get in the trade, we're just going to put it just a few pennies under this small blue dot because there is no previous lower row. It's the first row of blue dots. The signal just came in. It's the first time you had triple confirmation. We stay in the trade as long as we stay above these blue dots. That's our safe zone. Good stuff here. Now let's take a look at a more intraday chart and its futures. I set my chart up like this, and you can do it any way you like. I just keep a 3-9 on the bottom. The 1-2-3 chart is your main chart, and I always use the tick chart to verify the triple confirmation trade on the 1-2-3 chart. Especially helpful for the sweet spots. When the prices pull back down and the bar goes from green back to blue again, I've got to have tick chart agreement before I make the trade. I use a 233 500 guidance chart for ticks. And I go over all of that in the trading session. If you're new with AbleTrend, I'll gladly do a trading session for you anytime. Or if you just have questions, or even if you're not new, anything I can help you with. Everybody knows by now I'm here every day, and I'm always glad to help. Big move pre-market. Don't usually get a lot of volume pre-market, so personally not a fan of trading pre-market, but we have a lot of people that do. They trade overnight and they trade pre-market. And anybody who had the signals, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. It doesn't matter anything. Because if you see this on your chart on the right side, because this is exactly what you're looking at. If you were seeing this live, these signals are the exact signals on the chart. Nothing changes. Right there is where you're going to get in. Blue bar, blue dot, blue X. I don't care if it's what time of the day it is, especially if it's the morning or afternoon when the U.S. session is on. As soon as you see this, you hit the buy market button. And that was a home. Well, no, we stopped out right here. Actually, we put the stop loss 1 point below the bottom of the first blue bar. So we're going to lose about 5 points on that trade because we use a 5 point minimum. There's your sweet spot right there. The prices pull back down to the blue dot, and it goes from green. And if I'm watching this live, the very next blue bar, if the tick chart agrees, again, tick chart I'm using, 233 500. Same one I've been using for a long time now. 233, you can see it in the upper left corner, 500. So at that time, at 7:07 Eastern, I just scroll back to 7:07 because I'm looking at it live. Oh boy, for sure, we're in. Look at that, at 7:07 right here. Triple confirmation, we're good. So we're going to re-enter the trade here at 7:07 with the prices 77.34. We're out at 56. Nice, 22 points. That's $440 trading the mini NASDAQ. That AbleTrend gave it to all of us, you, me, and everyone else who simply just followed the same rules I repeatedly have been talking about for years now. And I'm sure you probably heard it a million times in these webinars, so probably tired of hearing me. It's a $440 trade in exactly 60 minutes per one contract, not 5 or 10, like a lot of clients tell me they trade with AbleTrend. No, just one. Nothing wrong with that, right? Well, let's jump in and look at, when the U.S. session started, which is, of course, 9:30 Eastern. And that's how we use the tick chart, Michael. We just want confirmation. It just has to be on a buy signal at the same time. That's it. First trade of the day was a loss. And yesterday was a very choppy day, too. First trade was a loss because you've got perfect triple confirmation right there. Stop loss goes 1 point below the bottom of the bar. We lost 10 points on the first trade 3-4 minutes later. So not a good start, but we don't care. We know it works. It's been working. Well, anybody who's had it the last month and has been using it, it is obviously up many thousands of dollars in the last few weeks. But if you're new to AbleTrend, or either way, regardless, if you stick with it and grind it out, you will win. Now, there'll be losing trades and losing days. Like yesterday, I don't cherry pick. I brought that up. I didn't have to, but I want to be real about this because we're about serious, real-time trading. Everybody gets one trial. Often we allow an additional one, but trials are for new users, and then you decide from there whether you want a 1 year or a lifetime license. Obviously, the lifetime is the much better deal, what most people get, yet it costs more. But if you just wanted it for the 1 year, perfectly fine too. Those are the two options, otherwise it shuts off. And when you're looking at this live, you just robotically take the next trade. Here's your triple confirmation sell right there. So when you're watching this live, I'm in at 77.50. Let's call it 49. Make the trade even worse than it is, but let's call it 49. And now we know we put the stop loss 1 point above the top of the red bar. Same rules as I talk about every week. Robotically, you just make the same. You got to follow the rules because they work, and they work really well. Well, when you're watching this one live, home run city. Now the stop loss, I have two green bars. We know we use the 2 green bar stop. Those are the only way to exit this trade is a 2 green bar stop, or as the dots are going lower. For example, when the price is in here, there's your red dot. Now we move the stop lower to 49. Hey, we can't lose on this trade. We are guaranteed to win money 10 minutes after the trade. Cannot lose because you put your stop loss immediately once you enter the trade. Don't even wait a second. Immediately you put your stop. 2 green bar stop, same rules as always, goes 1 point above the top of the higher of the 2 green bar. Came close, but we did not get stopped out there. So now we're still in the trade. Now we're looking at this and, I'm foaming at the mouth. I mean, we're in at 49. We're down to 17. That's 30 points at this point. We're now up $600. However, we lost 10 points on the first trade. So we're up $400. Very clear cut, no guesswork, a very obvious, clear cut AbleTrend sell signal right there. And this one was just crazy good. Crazy good. This was really close, and I'm going to say that we did. It was like within a tick. But I always take the worst case scenario. So we're out at 80. We're in at 49. That's 69 points profit. There is no reason for you not to have this if you are a serious day trader using AbleTrend. There would be no reason not to. I mean, obviously, if you had another appointment and you weren't at your computer, that's one thing. But if you're serious, you'd have been at your computer. So there is no reason whatsoever because the software, if it could talk, it would be screaming at us to take this trade right here. I don't know what more you could possibly ask for than that. It's super simple. There's triple confirmation. I just don't know what anybody could want if that's not good enough. I mean, that's a 70-point move times $20 a point. That's a nice piece of change right there. In 30 minutes, not in 3 weeks or 2 weeks. No. In 30 minutes, AbleTrend gave it to all of us. Pretty good stuff right there. That's about a let's call it 1,400. I'll just take 100 off just for good measure. $1,400 winner. We were minus 200 going into that. Can't forget that. We're plus 1,200 an hour and 10 minutes into the U.S. session. Not bad. Now, obviously, there's no trade yet. We have to wait for a sweet spot. Now, when we're looking at this live, the next thing we do is, you know by now, if you're an AbleTrend user, we're looking for the sweet spot. Has to come, you know, even if it's within a point or two of the red dot, and I get a red bar, I'm in on the sweet spot. Oh, there it is. There's hit the dot. Now, where's the next red? Oh, there's the next red. I'm looking at this live. I'm going immediately to my tick chart. Well, you know what? The tick chart was not short at that time. It was not. That's easy enough. You don't take the trade. So, good thing we didn't. It's scary how accurate the tick chart is when you combine it with a 1, 2, 3 chart. It's almost scary sometimes. They'll be losing trades and losing days. Third time I've said that. So I don't want to mislead anyone. I don't want anyone to mislead me. So I certainly not going to do that to anyone else, especially when we have a lot of money on the line here like this. Obvious no trade zone. The software is telling us don't do anything. Stay out of it. It's just not going to. There's a very low probability of having a trend. Nobody can make a trend. If there's a trend there, AbleTrend will pick it up and we'll win money on it. But you're all at the mercy of how many trends there are for the day. The market price action. If it's a flat, sideways, choppy day like yesterday was, you can't win. Luckily, like yesterday and like this period right in here, we had a lot of no trade zones that kept us out of a lot of trouble compared to other indicators, which got completely crushed. Well, we didn't get, we hung in there and, lost a little, but losing day. And I keep repeating that because I don't want to paint any unrealistic expectations, like it's going to be some kind of miracle thing. But if this isn't good enough, especially winning over, literally in profit, thousands of dollars, one day alone was 3,800 last week. So, and not even, if you don't even include, thousands of dollars over the last week. What more can anybody ask for? I'm blown away by how good it is, but I don't know what else anybody could want. There's no perfect system, and nobody can place the trades for you. So just stick with the rules, the same repeated rules that I just continually go over. And I want to do that because repetition is, it's good. It makes you understand what you're looking at, and it sinks in. But there's no other way to use it, and there's nothing else that compares to it. Nothing. Trust me. I talk to thousands of clients. They tell me I've tried hundreds of programs. I just wish I would have found AbleTrend earlier. Well, I said the same thing 15 years ago before I landed here. So we're going to get long over here, and we're going to lose. We're going to lose 7, 8 points on this trade because eventually it comes back down, and we would hit our stop, which would be right there. All right, so just let's roll along because I'm already 4 minutes over my allotted time. But you've got another, a buy signal there. That's a small winner, but we'll call it a break even. Obviously a no trade zone. We had a long signal here. We were stopped out right there, so we lost a few points on that trade. This was a valid sweet spot. The tick chart agreed. It had a blue bar, blue dot, and a blue X at that time. So we're now long at 77.12. There's our 2 green. We're clearly in profit more than, I use 8 points. You can use 10, 12, whatever you like. When we're in profit, we're going to use that 2 green bar stop. There's the 2 green bars. And if we're looking at it live, this is exactly what we're looking at. There's your 2 green bar exit stop. So we're out on that one plus 10. I'll make it 8, although actually it's 12, so I'll make it 10. I just like to keep it simple. Okay, the re-entry right here, Sid, is the sweet spot. This is the sweet spot. The re-entry is when the prices pull back down to the blue dots, and the bar goes from green back to blue again. As long as the tick chart is also on a buy signal, we're in right there. We're in at 12. Up and away we go. We're out at 24. That's another 12 points. I'll just make it 10. I'll take $100 off of the winner. Yeah, for slippage, commissions, even though it's not that high, I want to make it worse than it sounds, and not exaggerate, make it better like everybody else in the world does. That's another 200 in the account. I mean, we're up a lot of money here so far. A lot of money. And again, no reason that everybody didn't have this, because it's really clear and obvious. There's no guesswork. There's nothing to think about. The signals don't change because we don't get into a trade until the bar closes anyhow. And once the bar finishes, we are instantly in buy market. No, it doesn't, Antonio. It doesn't matter. So that's another 200 on top of the, what, 1,500 we're already up for the day. And as you know, these webinars are all recorded. So you can go by next day or two, it'll be online, and everybody has the link. I've emailed to everybody. I never send any junk emails. So if it comes from Ron C. at Able says, you want to open that up, because there's usually money to be made in the email. And at the same website where you ought to get into this, or if you have AbleTrend, you click Help Webinars. You can watch all the recordings right there if you need to watch it again. But this is nothing different than I've talked about last week, or the week before that, or the week before that, or 1,000 weeks before that. It's exactly the same. It's just kind of drilling in the point, really. Or some people, I can understand, you might need to hear it 2 or 3 times, but perfectly welcome to do so. That's why we record the webinars. But I mean, it just doesn't get any easier than this, and it doesn't get any more accurate than this. I don't know why. It just doesn't even compare to anything else. I don't know what anybody could possibly want. If somebody said this isn't good enough, you know what? Trading's not for you. I mean, what could be more good? What could be better than this? I mean, it's up thousands of dollars in the last month. And again, the one big day of 3,600 or 3,800, is a big chunk of that. But that was just the same as today. The signals are the same. This is exactly how you use it. And it's what I've been, repeatedly talk about, as well as the one-on-one trading session that I've done. So pretty cool stuff. Skip, looking at just the dots or the bar color also. I'm looking at just the dots, Skip. If it's in a buy signal, whether the bar color on the tick could be green, but if it's still long and you're not out of the trade on the tick, yeah, that'd be good. Okay, so I'm just going to roll right along here. I mean, this is about a break even, slight winner, but I'll call it break even. We've got a small losing trade. Nah, I wouldn't even say small. I don't like that real big bar there, but I'm going to take worst case scenario and say, yeah, we're in on that one. And this was about a 7-point loser on that trade. And then we get the 7 points back right at, actually we get more than that, but we'll call it we get that. Well, we just lost on the trade before. We get it right back here on the triple confirmation buy signal. So overall today, I mean, very profitable day. I didn't calculate it while I was talking just now, but I mean, it was well over $1,400, $1,500 for the day. And the signals didn't change. So this is exactly what you saw in your chart. If you're serious about your trading and you want to be a winner or want to have a really good chance to have, if you want very accurate, low-risk trades, and there'll be losing trades, as I keep repeating, so I got to drill that home. This is not, there's no magic in trading. I mean, it's just as good as that. There's no chance of, Michael, if you have a blue bar, a blue dot, and a blue at Michael H., there's no chance of a red X coming in. There's nothing to fear. I mean, if you have your stop loss in place, it's low risk on anyhow. That's why we instantly put the stop losses in place. So we never have a lot of money at risk, regardless of what happens. But you also take the risk by not making the trade. You also take the risk of not picking up a $1,500 day like today. And if you don't pick that up today, who knows? Tomorrow might be a flat market where nobody has a chance to win. So you've got to take advantage of these big trends and these big winning days. You must take advantage of the trends. You must take advantage of the trends, or don't even trade anymore. I'm telling you not to. You think, like, wait a minute, this guy, they've got a software program that they're selling and he's telling me not to. No, I'm very real. You have to make the trades. You have to follow these simple rules, and you have to push the button. And you don't do that until you're comfortable. You trade paper trade first. If you're not comfortable with it, don't even think about trading real money. Paper trade with it until you get confident in the signals and how to use it, which I don't know how you can make it any easier than this. I had a client tell me I could teach this to my 10-year-old. Is this all it is? Is it for the entries and the exits and the stops? I said, yeah, that's all it is. He said, oh my God, this is so simple. How could this work? Well, 3 weeks later, after he had the trial, he bought a permanent license because he said, this does work. That's one of 20,000 people who have. Michael, we don't look at outside news, except if it's a Fed meeting at 2 o'clock Eastern, 7 or 8 times a year. Then you don't want to be in the market. But nobody can predict what's going to happen or what somebody's going to say or what Trump is going to tweet or anything like that. You take the signals. The less you think about other indicators, about this might happen or that might happen, the less you fear, the less you think, the less you worry about news and outside sources, the better you'll do. Keep it simple. That's what works the best. Keep it simple. That's what works the best. Sydney, if there's magic in trading, Able's the magic. Oh, cool. Thanks for saying that, Sydney. Good guy. Michael Z, you're still waiting to have 2 bars above resistance. I use 1, Michael, and if Tick agrees, just use a little common sense, then take it. You can wait for 2 if you're more comfortable with that. But just keep it simple. All right, good stuff, good questions, good people in the room here today, as always. Thanks for being here. Feel free to call or email to me. I'm always glad to help. That's what I'm here for. You can tell by now I like what I do. Just stay in touch. Let me know how you're doing. Have a good one, everyone.